Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So yeah, in this video I'm going to be talking about my top 15 favourite movies from the year 2008. So yeah, these are just my personal favourite top 15 movies. This isn't the right list. Your list is going to be different, and so it should be. But yeah, a lot of fun compiling these movies. Great year for comedy, in my opinion. And yeah, I'm going to leave a full list down below in the description box of honourable mentions that didn't make the cut for me. And these again are all in the accordance with the release dates from IMDb. They all have 2008 against their name. So yeah, that being said, gonna get into it with number 15. So coming in at number 15 for me, we actually have the movie that won Best Picture for 2008, and it is Danny Boyle's Slumdog Millionaire. Yeah, this is one I'm not really a big fan of, but it did grow on me on rewatch. Really, really awesome concept about someone who takes part in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and each question that he gets asked, we cut to a time in his life where he actually found out and discovered the answer through, strange and different and humorous circumstances. And by the end of it, he gets accused of cheating. And yeah, it's just a really, really great, awesome movie. When I think about it and sit down, really, really fun concept, really, really interesting scenarios that we see. Some of them are quite harrowing and heartbreaking, but yeah, it's a great movie all around, and yeah, I just enjoy it for what it is. So it's a really, really good time, this one. So that coming at number 15 for me is Slumdog Millionaire. So coming in at number 14, we have Jim Carrey in Yes Man. Yeah, this is just a really, really fun movie. A return to form for Jim Carrey, in my opinion. Yeah, he's just a guy who constantly says no to life. Every opportunity that comes his way is just no. Wants nothing to do with it, doesn't want to know at all. But yeah, ends up going to this seminar, finding out, about the power of yes. And he enters this covenant where he kind of just has to, say yes to every opportunity that, comes his way, and it changes his life. And yeah, it's just a really enjoyable comedy. I enjoy the supporting cast in this movie. Jim Carrey's great, and yeah, it's just an all-round fun time. It's everything you'd expect it to be. So coming in at number 14, we have Yes Man. So coming up at number 13 for me is Defiance. This is a great World War II movie that I really get a kick out of this one. So you've got Daniel Craig, Lev Schreiber, and Jamie Bell, who play three Jewish brothers, and they pretty much, devote their lives to kind of saving Jewish people during the Second World War, and they live in the woods, and they build communities, and yeah, it's just a way to sort of keep them safe. And in the process as well, they just try and kill as many Nazis as they can, by really sort of denting the German army, and it's just great to see. It's just a really, really awesome movie, and I just really enjoy this one. The performances in it are top notch. The setting of World War II and the woods that these people live in is just absolutely great. Feel as if you're there, and yeah, I just have a great time with it. I just think it's an awesome movie. So yeah, that is my next pick, Defiance. So coming up next at number 12, we have Zack and Miri Make a Porno, directed by Kevin Smith. Yeah, this is another fun comedy I enjoy. It's over the top, it's silly. It just follows Zack and Miri, who are pretty much down on their luck, can't really afford to pay the rent. So they decide, you know what, porn stars get paid a hell of a lot of money. Let's just mess around and make a porn video. And yeah, just see what happens and try and get some money from it. And that's pretty much the movie. They film most of it at this coffee shop, and yeah, it's just a really, really funny, enjoyable, good time. It is what it is. It does nothing special. It doesn't reinvent the wheel, but yeah, I enjoy it for what it is. It got some chuckles out of me, and I had a good time with it. So yeah, that is my next pick, Zack and Miri Make a Porno. So coming up next at number 11, we have another comedy, and it is Role Models. Yeah, I think Paul Rudd and Sean William Scott have amazing chemistry in this film. They sort of play, these two friends who worked for this sort of energy drink company, and they get into trouble with the car, and instead of going to jail, they're given community service, and they have to spend time with these two young lads, and one of them is kind of into like fantasy role playing, and they all get involved in it. It's just a really, really fun movie, this one. The role playing fantasy stuff itself does look like a hell of a lot of fun, and yeah, that just really adds to the charm of the movie. All four of the leads in this are just, great. The two adults and the two kids. There's a lot of fun stuff going on. It really, really does make you laugh. And yeah, Sean William Scott is up to his usual tricks as he is in these types of movies. And yeah, I just have an all-round great time with it. It's fun. It's rewatchable. All the Kiss stuff in there as well. If you're a Kiss fan, this is a massive nod to that band as well. And yeah, I just have a great time with it. So yeah, just missing out on number 10 is Role Models. So cracking into the top 10 now, coming in at 10th place, we have Kung Fu Panda from DreamWorks. Yeah, this was probably my favourite DreamWorks movie, to be honest, from their animation studio. And yeah, it's got an amazing cast, too many names to mention, Jack Black, Angelina Jolie, Jackie Chan, Lucy Liu, David Cross. Yeah, it's just got a really, really fun plethora of characters in this movie. And yeah, it's just about these five sort of ancient warriors, and they're told, in this sort of prophecy thing that there's going to be this ultimate warrior. And they found out that it's Po, this panda, and no one can really sort of believe it and take him seriously. And yeah, he's, foretold that he has to take down this sort of evil entity played by Ian McShane, and yeah, it's just an all-round fun time. It's just a great family movie, a lot of chuckles in this one, and yeah, I just enjoy it for what it is. So harmless fun. So coming in at number 10, we have Kung Fu Panda. So coming in at number 9 for me, we have Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly in Step Brothers. Yeah, this was a smash when it came out. I remember everyone talking about this film and just quoting it constantly all the time. It is Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly pretty much play Step Brothers, and for the first sort of 2/3 of this movie, these guys cannot fucking stand each other. They're just absolutely trying to outdo each other and annoy each other, and it's hilarious. The chemistry between the two of them is just on point when they just absolutely despise each other, and it's great as well when they get along, when they make that sort of pivot in the movie. And yeah, it's the two leads that make the film. It's so quotable, it's so funny, and yeah, I just really, really enjoy this one. Yeah, very, very rewatchable. Again, another amazing comedy from 2008. So yeah, that's my next pick, Step Brothers. So coming in at number 8, we have a movie by Clint Eastwood, and that is Gran Torino. Yeah, this is pretty much, Clint Eastwood playing a grumpy old man who doesn't like his neighbours at all. He's very sort of set in his ways. And yeah, he ends up forming this bond with this young lad, and everyone's sort of fascinated by Clint Eastwood's car that he's got. And it's very sort of a gangland environment that he lives in. And yeah, it's he just doesn't really want to take shit from anyone in this movie at all, Clint Eastwood. And it's a great performance by him. All the actors in it are given their all, even the supporting cast, the gangsters in particular. It's just, it creates this very dangerous setting. And yeah, I just think it's a great film. Really, really well made. The ending to it is, it's either going to work for you or it isn't. But I took it for what it was. And it does make sense in the grand scheme of things when you look at the bigger picture. But yeah, it's just an all-round solid movie, and I just enjoy this one. So yeah, that is my next pick at number 8, Gran Torino. So coming in at number 7, we've got another comedy with Seth Rogen, and that is Pineapple Express, also starring James Franco. This is your typical stoner movie, but it goes so much further with it, in my opinion. And yeah, it's just these stoners who witness this murder, who are in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it just leads this over the top climax. It's absolutely hysterical. But the star of the show for me, this movie really put his name on the map for me, was probably Danny McBride. I was never really a big fan of him, but he is hysterical in this movie. Every time I rewatch it, I just cannot wait for his scenes to show up, because he just cracks me up so much as Red in this film. Yeah, just absolutely phenomenal. Completely dig his character, and I just have a great time with it. So, yeah, that is my next pick, Pineapple Express. So coming up next at number 6 for me is a movie directed by Bryan Singer, and that is Valkyrie, starring Tom Cruise. An amazing cast of this movie as well, absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, it just sort of follows this story about these group of German soldiers who decided to take it upon themselves to see if they could assassinate Adolf Hitler before the war went any further and try and sort of bring it to a close. And it just sort of tells that tale. And yeah, it just leads for some absolutely excellent acting, a great story. And yeah, it's just an all-round really solid film. Really enjoy this one. Tom Cruise gives an amazing performance in it. And yeah, if you love your World War II movies, definitely check this one out, because it was an interesting story. And yeah, just really had a great time at this one. So coming in at number 6 for me, we've got Valkyrie. So coming in at number 5, we've got Darren Aronofsky's The Wrestler, starring Mickey Rourke. Yeah, this is just a great sort of tale about redemption in a way. Follows Mickey Rourke, who plays this wrestler who was, had his heyday, he was top of his game, and it's sort of about him dealing with the fact that he isn't who he used to be anymore, and potentially he could come back and try and sort of, rekindle a little bit of that fame he once had. And yeah, that's pretty much the movie. It's about him sort of building bridges with fallen relationships as well. And it kind of sort of reflected what Mickey Rourke was going through at the time as an actor as well. There was some great sort of mirror imagery there, with sort of art imitating life or life imitating art. And yeah, it was just a great solid movie. Great performance from Mickey Rourke. Some of the wrestling stuff in the movie as well is it just looks absolutely painful. Some of the stuff they do to themselves in this movie, and it's got a fantastic ending as well. Really sort of ends on this book open ending, and it's just great. It leaves you as the viewer to kind of come up with what happens yourself. But yeah, it's just a great solid movie. The acting in it is on point, and I just really enjoy this one. So coming in at number 5, we've got The Wrestler. So coming in at number 4 for me, just missing out on the podium places, we've got Sylvester Stallone in Rambo. Yeah, this was a long-awaited sequel from the Rambo trilogy that we had gotten for so long. And yeah, coming out in 2008, no one really knew what to expect from this film. This was the first movie I actually saw twice in 2 consecutive days. I loved the first time I watched this movie. It blew me away in sort of every sense of the word. I just thought the violence and gore and motivations in this movie were just so clued in and just really, effective with their execution. This movie, the third act of this film, just goes all out. It doesn't hold back on anything. It is just an absolute treat and a joy to watch. It's harrowing. It's difficult to watch at times. You really feel for the innocent people in this movie. But Rambo just turns it on and shows up in that third act. And it's just an absolute bloodbath. Hadn't seen anything like it at the time. And it blew me away. Thought it was absolutely phenomenal. So coming in at number 4 for me, we've got Rambo. So coming in at number 3 for me, taking the bronze medal, is the first movie from the MCU, and that is Iron Man, starring Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, this and Tropic Thunder were kind of like, a return to form for Robert Downey Jr. His career had sort of been on a downward spiral before this movie, and yeah, it really sort of put him on the map. I thought it was great casting. I thought he really fit the role of Tony Stark. And yeah, it's just a great origin movie for for this comic book superhero who kind of wasn't a household name at the time, Iron Man. People have heard of him, they knew him sort of from Marvel Comics, but he didn't really have the IP that the X-Men or Spider-Man had. And yeah, it really, really showcased him as, this great superhero you really sort of, were invested in. And it's just a really, really good, entertaining movie. Really enjoyed what Jon Favreau did with this film as a director and Kevin Feige as a producer. They really sort of, helmed this movie as the starting point of what I thought up until a couple of years ago was an amazing project. But yeah, it's a great starting point for the MCU. It's a great Iron Man movie, and it's a great comic book movie. So yeah, that's why it comes in at third place for me. So yeah, that is Iron Man. So coming in at second place for me, just missing out on the top spot, taking the silver medal for 2008, is Liam Neeson in Taken. Yeah, this is a great action movie, really awesome suspenseful thriller as well. Yeah, Liam Neeson pretty much plays this sort of ex sort of secret agent who now sort of takes on sort of bodyguarding duty as sort of ways to get a little bit of extra money. And his daughter's going on this this tour following this rock concert in Europe, this rock band, and yeah, shit hits the fan. She gets kidnapped, and he's basically going on a one-man army to try and recover her and save her. And yeah, it's just an amazing movie. It's so suspenseful. The execution and the techniques in this movie are just absolutely phenomenal. You're on the edge of your seat. You really feel that, as each second passes, he's losing the chance to save his daughter. And it's just a phenomenal movie. Really, really awesome film. It did spawn a load of subpar action movies with starring Liam Neeson. But for me, Taken is by far the best. And yeah, it's just an absolutely great, great movie. Really, really enjoy this one. So, coming in at number 2, we've got Taken. So, coming in at number 1 for me is Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. Now, this is a movie a lot of people have heard me say that I find overrated. I don't enjoy it as most. And that's true. Definitely, I do think this movie, on reflection and on rewatch, does have its problems. It does have its cracks, definitely, but it is still a very well-made film, and there are still things about the movie that I do enjoy, but everything positive about this movie, in my opinion, has already been said, and I can't bring anything new to the table when it comes to praising the movie, because I think it has been said. Heath Ledger's performance is one of the best in cinema history, I think, in terms of acting, and yeah, that's all good, but what I'm going to bring to the table about this one is that this movie, when I first saw it, I didn't know what to expect. It was just one of those days that I can just describe as absolutely perfect. It doesn't sound like much, but it was just a day where it was just a great day out with friends. And you go to the cinema, you go for a meal, you hang out at your friend's house afterwards. It was just a perfect, perfect day. And this movie was just, at the time first seeing it, it did blow me away. And it was just one of those days which you just could not critique in any way. It just paid off. It was wonderful. Absolutely perfect. Doesn't sound like much, but we've all had one of those days where everything just seems to go right and all the stars are aligned. And yeah, it was just a brilliant, brilliant memory of mine. And yeah, it is a good film. Going back to it on rewatch, yes, it does have its cracks. It does have its problems, in my opinion. And I just don't think it is this flawless masterpiece anymore. But it was just that first time I watched it was such a joy. It was an amazing day that I had. And yeah, it was, I just hold a very, very special memory place for this movie. And yeah, that was my takeaway from it. I know most people aren't going to have that, but for me it just worked in terms of that day. It was just an amazing time. But yeah, on reflection, I do think the movie does have its problems, but yeah, it comes in at first place for me for 2008 because I do think it is the best movie from that year. But yeah, it's definitely my favourite from that year, but not overall. So yeah, coming at number 1 we have The Dark Knight. So yeah, those are my top 15 favourite movies from the year 2008, guys. Going to leave the video there and say thanks very much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.